The cemetery was silent, except for the faint sound of the wind brushing through the trees. The little girl, Anna, stood beside her father's grave, clutching a wilted rose in her small hands. She was only 8 years old, and yet the weight of the world pressed down on her tiny shoulders. Her father had been her everything, the one who held her hand at night when she was scared, the one who packed her school lunch with silly notes inside, the one who promised her that no matter what, she would never be alone. But life had broken that promise when sickness stole him away. Anna's stepmother, Clarissa, stood a few feet away, dressed in black lace, her face expressionless. She had married Anna's father only 2 years earlier, and though she played the part of a loving wife in public, behind closed doors she treated Anna with coldness. Clarissa's heart wasn't softened by the loss of her husband, it seemed hardened even more. As the mourners began to leave, Anna lingered by the grave, whispering, "I'll be okay, Daddy. I'll try." But she didn't know how she could be. When she finally turned toward her stepmother, she was met not with comfort, but with icy words that cut sharper than any blade. "You don't belong in my house anymore," Clarissa said flatly, her voice low but venomous. "Your father's gone. You're nothing but a burden now." Anna blinked, confused. But where will I go?" Clarissa's lips curved into a cruel smile. "Anywhere but with me." Before Anna could protest, Clarissa grabbed the child's small suitcase already packed with only a few clothes, and set it on the curb. The little girl stood trembling, her father's photograph clutched to her chest, as her stepmother walked away without a second glance. Tears blurred Anna's vision. She was alone. Abandoned. The world seemed colder than ever before. But then, just as the cruelty of life seemed unbearable, something unexpected happened. A man, tall and sharply dressed, who had been watching from a distance, suddenly stepped forward. His face was stern, but his eyes softened when he saw Anna's trembling figure. "Wait," he called out. His voice was deep, commanding, the kind that made people stop and listen. He walked quickly toward Anna, ignoring the gasps from a few lingering mourners. Anna looked up at him, scared yet curious. The man bent down, leveling his gaze with hers. "You don't know me yet," he said gently, "but I knew your father very well. He was my best friend, and he saved my life more than once. And now," his voice cracked just slightly, betraying his emotion. "Now it's my turn to take care of you." Clarissa scoffed, crossing her arms. "And who do you think you are? This child is none of your concern." The man turned his head slowly, his gaze like steel. "My name is David Montgomery," he said, his words sharp with authority. "And if you think I'm going to let you throw this child out on the street after burying her father, you are gravely mistaken. She's coming with me." Clarissa's face paled. Everyone in the town knew the Montgomery name. David was a self-made millionaire, known not only for his wealth but for his influence and power. People didn't cross him. But Anna didn't care about his reputation. She only cared about the warmth in his voice, the safety in his words. Her small lips trembled as she whispered, You'll take care of me?" David smiled softly and held out his hand. "I promised your father I would always protect you if anything ever happened to him. And I don't break my promises." With tears still clinging to her cheeks, Anna placed her tiny hand in his. For the first time since her father's death, she felt a glimmer of hope. From that moment, Anna's life began to change, but not without struggles. David took her to his grand estate, a mansion unlike anything she had ever seen. It was beautiful, with chandeliers, marble floors, and rooms bigger than her entire old house. But none of that mattered to Anna. What mattered was the emptiness in her heart. Every night, she cried herself to sleep, whispering to her father's photo. "I miss you, Daddy. Even if this house is big, I just want you back." David noticed her pain. Though he had all the money in the world, he knew wealth couldn't heal a broken heart. So instead, he gave her time, patience, and something far more valuable, love. He sat by her bedside at night, telling her stories about her father, stories she had never heard before. How her dad once worked 2 jobs just to buy her a birthday gift. How he used to brag about her drawings at the office. How he was so proud to call her his daughter. Little by little, Anna began to smile again. But challenges were far from over. Clarissa, the cruel stepmother, wasn't content to simply let go. Driven by greed, she tried to challenge David for guardianship, hoping to access Anna's inheritance. She even spread lies, claiming David only wanted the girl to manipulate her fortune. It became a bitter legal battle. Lawyers, courtrooms, whispers in the community. Anna was forced to relive the pain of her father's death over and over, terrified she might be sent back to the woman who never wanted her. But David never wavered. He stood tall in court, his arm protectively around Anna's shoulders. "This child deserves love, stability, and safety," he told the judge. "And I'll fight with everything I have to give her that." In the end, justice prevailed. Clarissa's lies were exposed, her greed laid bare for everyone to see. She lost not only the case but her reputation. Anna remained with David, and slowly, her wounds began to heal. She excelled in school, discovering a passion for art and painting. David proudly hung her artwork all over his mansion, turning the cold halls into a gallery of a little girl's dreams. Years passed. Anna grew into a strong, compassionate young woman, carrying her father's memory in her heart but also filled with gratitude for the man who had stepped in when she needed him most. On the day of her high school graduation, she stood on stage, diploma in hand, and glanced at the crowd. David was there in the front row, clapping harder than anyone else, his eyes filled with tears. When the ceremony ended, Anna rushed to him and threw her arms around his neck. "You kept your promise," she whispered. "Daddy would be so proud of you, of us." David held her tightly. "No, Anna. He'd be proud of you." And so, the story that began with loss and cruelty ended with hope and love. It's a reminder that even in the darkest times, kindness can step in and change everything. Speech balloon. Dear viewers, what would you have done if you saw a little girl being treated the way Anna was? Share your thoughts in the comments below, I'd love to hear them. Loudspeaker. And if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Be kind always for more inspiring stories that remind us that kindness has the power to heal the world.